Yes, I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the Grill the Podcast Show, baby. And you know what that sound means. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, I've been strolling and trolling through the world of media and madness. And not a lot of madness. Actually, I'm going to try to continue some things I was talking about the other day, the woke culture. Of course, I got, I'm sorry, how are you doing? How was your day? Did you have a lovely day? Yes, stick around. I am going to do the Friday grill. What I'm going to do, I really don't know yet, but I'm doing it coming up after this episode. But yeah, so hopefully you had a great week. But yeah, I'm going to jump back into something I was talking about, with the woke culture that kind of leads into the cancel culture idea where people are now trying to wake up to racism, wake up to sexism, and all the isms that you can talk about. But the truth about when being woke first came about, when people were, I'm woke, I understand. It was just accepting things as they are, not complaining about them. It was like, hey, the world is this way. I accept it. I'm a part of this world. If I want to do something different, I'm going to do something different. But it was a whole idea that said we as citizens, we as humans on this planet, that we need to accept how things have been. The past is the past. Of course, you know anything. Unless you've been under a rock, they're trying to teach the critical race theory like it's something new. And the whole focus is to educate white Americans on racism. And if you think about that in itself, you think about that idea, that statement right there, it is a sad statement because white people are aware of racism. They are aware of their forefathers and grandfathers. But at some point, you have to also say, hey, white people, are you aware that you died for freedom? That you died for freeing the slaves when the Union and the Confederate fought against each other? Whatever you may say the undertone or the true purpose of that war was, either way it go, white men died to have black men free from slavery, whether it was to go work, whatever they wanted in the end. But they fought wars against each other. White men fought against each other. So you want to tell white men, remember your racism, instead of, and not say, hey, remember your heroism, because that's what it was. And if you're black and you living in America, then they didn't do nothing. Yes, they did. Because I've shared again, black men weren't allowed to fight in wars on American soil. It took years. So you looking at the Civil War, you looking at who was dying for that. Now you want to tell these people, we're woke now. We need to teach white people what white people have done so white people can do what? Not do it? I don't think we'll ever go back to those archaic times. But for the fact that now the woke culture is a part of the cancel culture is because they see everything as in, that's wrong. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have addressed that person that way. Now that we're woke, we're going to deal with you on a woke level. We are about to give it to you. We're about to mess up your life. We're about to take everything that was given to you. And hey, I mean, if that's the choice of the people who call themselves woke, let it be their choice. That is their choice. I'm not going to get into that. But what I am going to say is, if you're a part of the woke culture, if you're saying to yourself, I'm one of the woke individuals in America, then do something with it. Because me being woke is telling you what I just told you. Yes, racism exists, but at the same time, the people that fought against racism were white. So you can't just run down your whole path and say all white people are racist. That's not woke. That's bias and that's ignorant. It does not make sense. If you say, black people built this country, okay, yeah, that may be true, but at the same time, someone white had to allow us to get the job. At that time, we're talking time. Someone white, someone in power, we always talk about power and who's in power, had to allow us or give us the job to build it. We talking about slavery. No, slavery was down south picking cotton, doing a lot of degrading work. That was slavery. Of course, then they turned slavery into going into prison and making license plates. Ain't nobody talking about that. But y'all ain't woke enough to see that real slavery. Some people are. Some people are woke enough to say, hey, the jail system is the new slavery. It was a penalizing system that was developed to make slaves, and I mean slave wages. When the Civil War did what it did, when people were free to do what they wanted to do or live the lives that they wanted to live, they still needed slave labor. So that slave labor came through the means of prisons. Now, a lot of prison laws have been changed. Donald Trump changed a lot of them. So are you woke or are you mad? Because for what I see and when I see, and this is another thing, being woke, when I see a white person call a white person a Karen, it's like, did you not forget that was slang that black people actually start calling white people, or white people who complain, or white women that complain, or call the cops for no reason? It is a terminology that black Americans placed upon white women who would just complain about whatever, or have this racist or this I'm better than everybody attitude. So when a white person calls a white woman a Karen, I'm like, y'all don't even know. Y'all think y'all so woke, but you actually sleep. So it's used the correct way, but it was something that black people start just labeling out there. And of course, please don't get me into, of course, you'll have to go to the root of it. Just because you saw it on social media and a white person said it first, don't mean it came from a white person. Come on. I mean, even with the N-word, black people, we're still on this thing. We're taking it back. It's still, that word has no power over a person that is woke. The N-word has no power over a person that is woke, because a person that is woke is trying to do the best for everyone that they encounter and make sure that this world is a better place for everyone that is on it, despite the past, despite the history of this country. So so that's how I feel about that. Now I'm gonna move into my next segment, and of course, if you know, you've heard, you haven't been on the rock again. Will Smith, of course, in one of his last testaments, Will's last testament with the Academy, they have suspended him for 10 years. And when I saw the suspension, I'm like, did he get in trouble in class? Hey, Justin, come over here, Justin. Yep, you should not have hit Ed Sheridan. You should have not done that. Oh, baby, you are suspended for 10 days. So they have suspended one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Is that going to affect his money? Yep, they already did that, because like I told you, people who are nominated for Academy Awards or a member of the Academy, they bring in $20 million. Even if the flick don't bring in nothing but $5, they get paid $20. You lost out on that. So Will Smith, but I think he'll bounce back. And I'll tell you why I think he'll bounce back, because I'm going to get into it a little deep in a second. But I mean, it's like being punished in school. You're suspended for 10 years from what? From doing what? You're not going to stop me from working. You didn't suspend me from the Screen Actors Guild. You didn't suspend me. I will work. Now, of course, the movies probably be some Tyler Perry movies, but they're going to be some banging ass Tyler Perry movies. I mean, come on, Will. You got to do what you got to do. It's going to be a banging ass Tyler Perry movie just to see Will Smith in one, because he's going to be knocked down a couple of notches. But if he holds to his gun, well, he's kind of older, so you can't really hold to your gun, because you'll be retirement age. You'll be mid-60s by the time you get back to the Academy. So do your thing. Get your NAACP awards for acting. Get all of that. I mean, but like I say, will it make any difference? Who knows? We'll see. I mean, but they've already calculated his age in this suspension. They know how much money he's going to lose. They already know. I mean, but you have to think now, a man that for years who was untouched by the negativity of Hollywood, who was one of the smiling faces for white America, black America, one of the positive faces for especially growing up in the urban area, when he was on Will Smith in on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just actually coming out of that whole look, he made it realistic to a lot of black kids, like, hey, you know, you could come up out of that, you still gonna deal with the things, because if you never watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it was a connection there, because he didn't have his dad was in and out of his life. There was still a whole lot of urban and black components that kept that show relevant and realistic to the black experience. Now that he was untouched by a lot of the negativity, and now he's being attacked by this same negativity, I mean, it kind of, a lot of it is on his wife, because a lot of people felt that her situation should have been led to a divorce, but he wanted to stick it out. You got grown kids, whatever the case may be. I don't know, Will, but everybody's on your ass now. They're like, oh, you should leave her, you should divorce her. I saw a little clip, don't know whether the clip is true, so I'm not gonna say it, but now that public entanglement that she had with that young man is people are now leaning on that, like, hey, why didn't you stop your husband? Like, oh, you really don't give a shit about your husband, you really don't care about your husband, you saw your husband get upset, but you didn't try to stop it. And one thing every man has had a conversation with his lady about is his temper. She knows, she should be able to recognize those things. Yes, I agree. But now that everything is being left to the shade room, when everything was left to the shade room and World Star, when he was going through that entanglement situation with his wife, it's like we as the public, and I mean the public, we were like, oh, whatever. Now the mainstream public, the white America public, the mainstream news, who pretty much puts this information in the heads of the Republican, when it's a political divide now. The political news sources are now talking about Will Smith in a way that the World Star and Shade Room did, and how they did their good job reporting the dirt, the drama. So now you have the political news outlet, CNN, Fox News, they're doing the same thing. But now it looks like it's something to talk about. It's just a smear campaign, because you have to think it's going to affect his character. That's all it's going to do. I mean, him slapping Chris Rock was a choice. Violence is violence. Yes, he could have handled it differently, but he didn't. I mean, he didn't. He made his choice. He went up there, and of course, time will go on. As time goes on, he will be forgiven. You want to know why he will be forgiven? Because it's the same thing that happened with Mr. Joe Rogan. After all those N-words were found in his podcasting, he is now back out representing and being looked at. Hey, give us your opinion. Mainstream has now forgotten, because that's how they do. When they find someone else to crucify, they forget the person that they were crucifying. And they crucified Joe Rogan. I've spoken about it. I've given my opinion on it with my opinionated ass. But at the same time, they have attacked Joe Rogan. Now that Will Smith is the guy, Joe Rogan is going to come back, and I told you he was going to come back, because that's how it is. He's going to come back to that level where he was, and then now referring, I forgot what it was something with some school. Anyway, they had him like, oh, let's talk to him about this, get his opinion on it, and he's across. I'm like, well, damn, just stay shut, just hide out. COVID is gone. We done forgot that you said the N-word. We done forgot that about your alternative means, how you supported that. We done forgot, because that's how it is in mainstream media. Once they rinse, dry, and repeat, whatever they call with Will Smith's story and Jada, well, Jada's going to be the last one. They are going to go after Jada. Just watch the whole progress. That Jada Pinkett will be the one that goes down for that slap, because I say again, any woman, any marriage, any relationship, the one thing a woman knows about her husband is his temper. So, or his temperament, maybe that's a better word for you to understand. So give it time. Will Smith, he may be suspended from the academy, but he will get his name back. He will get his goodwill name back. He will, because that's how mainstream media is. They're going to run the stories. They're going to talk about, they're going to pull stuff out that basically existed years and years ago. Now, I'm going to show you the sad side of entertainment as an African American. Black people love to see black people fail. The people who have been around this man, or even, let's just say, fans, the fair weather fans that he had that didn't really like him, or the people that never really liked his style of rap, never really liked his movies, they are going to keep pushing this, making new videos, making new things to poke fun at him. But the dude's still a millionaire. I mean, you're not going to take the success. You're not going to take his talent. That is God. God gave that man that talent. So no matter how you talk about him, no matter how you diss him, no matter how you don't want to hear from him or see him in a movie, you will not take that man's talent. That is a talented man. His movies are going to start streaming more, getting played more, because the comeback is controlled by mainstream media. Once they get through dishing all the dirt, once mainstream media stops talking about the slap with Will Smith and Chris Rock, Black America gonna stop talking about the slap and Chris Rock, because that's the same thing that happened with Joe Rogan. Everybody black was upset when they found out he said the N-word, but now that they're not talking about him, they have forgotten about him, and that's gonna be the same thing for Will Smith. But hey, I hope you don't forget that you have to take care of yourself and you have to take care of each other. And this has been another episode of Strolling and Trolling on the Grill the Podcast Show. Welcome to the Grill the